Hey guys, so it's Raul here again. I'm going to talk to you today about shoulder pain in relation to your pull-ups. I hope this video helps you and it gives you just some awareness about why you might be experiencing some shoulder pain when doing pull-ups. So a couple of the things that I want to leave on the table to start with is if you're doing keeping pull-ups and you don't have a couple of strict pull-ups, or you don't have really good strong ring rows, then you're going against my advice immediately by attempting keeping pull-ups. I'm happy for you to try and practice a swing so you get some body awareness, but know that until you're strong enough to do a proper strict pull-up, your shoulders and all your back muscles and biceps probably aren't strong enough to support your own body weight while adding momentum to that. Okay. If you can do pull-ups and you can do strict pull-ups and you're still experiencing problems in doing keeping pull-ups, what I find is a lot of people are weak at the bottom position of a pull-up, and I'm going to demonstrate what that means. So when you grab onto this bar, cool, coming out of the hole is challenging for you, if that makes sense. So whether you have an underhand or an overhand grip, coming out of that hole is challenging for a lot of people. So what they do to overcompensate for that is they keep their elbows slightly bent as they do their pull-ups, so that they're able to get away with the full movement, okay? Starting from the bottom, there's nothing wrong with that, but just know that if you're starting from a dead hang, you want to keep your lats active, which means that you're pulling your hands down from your hand down to your hip, okay? So as you're grabbing onto that bar, what you're trying to imagine to do is you're trying to pull that bar down towards your hip. If you're unable to create force from your hands down to the hip, cool, and you're kind of left stuck in this position here where you can't pull back, cool, then a good little tip to try and help you work on that is starting from the top part of the bar, tucking in and trying to work on coming down as slowly as you can. Cool. What that little drill there is going to do is going to learn to teach you to activate your lats in a pulling position. The stronger your lats are in that pulling position, the less chance of you sinking into your shoulders and dropping into, when you're doing keeping pull-ups, into a hanging shoulder that's not active. Does that make sense? So when people do keeping pull-ups and when they do butterfly pull-ups, there's a lot of momentum going, and then you drop to the bottom and your shoulders left having to support your whole body as you're hanging onto this bar. A couple of other things that happen is when people are gripping onto that bar, going too wide or too narrow may be what's hurting you. If you're going too wide and your shoulder doesn't want to go into that position, it's probably going to hurt you throughout your pull-ups. If you're going too narrow and it's stopping you from coming through enough and it's kind of just leaving you stuck here where your arms are almost bent, that's also going to be another reason why shoulders are going to hurt. Something that's going to be really safe for most people is having an underhand grip in your pull-ups. So getting really strong at starting from this position here, holding up, going all the way down, and as you're at the bottom, keeping a nice active lat, which means that you're able to engage and pull yourself back and keep your core nice and tight. Which is the last point I'm going to make, which is when people are in their pull-ups, a lot of people don't engage their core properly. If you have your knees tucked behind you and you're pulling up, your core is disengaged, cool, because it's being stretched. So to do the opposite of stretching your core, we're going to try and tuck it. So I want you to think about having your feet in front of you, cool, and closing the gap between your feet and your chest by kind of doing a small little L sit as you're pulling yourself up. So feet together, think of bringing your feet closer to your hip and then pulling up. And what that does is that tightens up your core for all of your pulling motions, and hopefully just adds stability to the structure that's your body as you're going through pull-ups. I hope that makes sense, guys. Hope that helps you out, and I hope that you keep in mind some things that I'm saying about pull-up safety. Have a couple of strict pull-ups. If you don't have them, work on strict pull-ups. Grab one of the lighter bands, work on full range of motion, work on getting stuck at this bottom position, keeping those lats nice and active, and pulling from that position. Don't bother working on things like chest to bar pull-ups if you only have 3 keeping pull-ups or 3 butterfly pull-ups. Make sure that there's a high volume to the amount of things you're doing before you're progressing. So until a guy has 5 strict pull-ups, I don't think it's worth messing around with keeping pull-ups too much. Until a woman has 1 to 3 or 2 strict pull-ups, I don't think it's worth for her to be messing around with keeping pull-ups, because there's a high chance of hurting your shoulders in that range of motion. Hope that helps, guys. Take care.